meeting to order. If you would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you call the roll, please?
Kalinowski.
Here.
Ball. Here. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Walker.
Here.
Guerra. Here. Williams.
Here.
And Cruz is absent.
Okay, on the meeting agenda tonight, communications and announcements, you have under item A, your district health department, number 10, beach monitoring program results. And we have a letter from Christine Stack, FEMA Region 5, regarding progress update for the Manistee County. You also have the Consumer Power Streetlight Map Field Project report prepared by Rob Carson. And besides that, in your packet, there's an enlarged map back there on the table that you can look at. Also, there's the email communication of August 25th from Mitch Deich, the city manager. Department and committee reports. A, the Water Department, Wade Trim monthly report. B, Fire Department. C, Office of the Zoning Administrator. D, Planning Commission. And under that, we need to consider approval of the introduction of an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the Charter Township of Filer, utility grid wind energy conversion systems. Under E, Building and Grounds Committee. F, PEG report. G, Downtown Development Authority report. We have number 1, a letter of the status of the infrastructure development. And number 2, consideration of approval of extension of the executive director's contract. And H, the sewer project report. Any additions or deletions to the meeting agenda?
Yeah, you need to consider the letter I passed out.
Oh, yes. Let's see.
That would go into
I thought
session.
As probably right after the sewer project report would be, or following public comment. Should we do it before public comment, or can we do it following?
Do it anytime you guys want to.
Okay.
Leave that up to you.
Okay. Let's add that following public comment. Then move into closed session.
Sure, that should be section 8H of the Open Meetings Act.
Anything else? Okay, then I would entertain a motion for approval of the meeting agenda.
I'll make that one.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hachinsky, second by Skira to approve the meeting agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Next, consideration of the approval of the consent agenda. Under item A, we have minutes of the August 7th board meeting. Item B, the financial report. Item C, approval of the township general fund expenditures, including the fire department. Check numbers 31534 through 31630. Accounts payable of $30,027. Payroll $14,096.14, totaling $44,123.14. Item D is approval of Water Department expenditure checks 2030 through 2036, totaling $19,455.67. Item E is approval of board members to attend the Manistee County Regional Summit on September 18th in Manistee at a cost of $20 per person. Item F is approval of the zoning administrator and planning commission members to attend the MSU Extension Streamlining the Zoning Ordinance workshop in Manistee on September 29th at a cost of $55 per person. Any additions or deletions to the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion. Support.
Motion by Kolonowski, support by Williams to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, under communications and announcements, you have your monthly district health department number 10 beach monitoring program results report. On item B, you have the letter from Christine Stack, who is the Division Director, FEMA Region 5, regarding progress update for Manistee County. Just a remark on that, when we, last week at the Wednesday countywide MTA meeting, they did bring maps to that, and we were asked to kind of update those maps. It hadn't been done in, I want to say it was like 5 years. And there were a few changes that needed to be made to the maps. So they're getting close to finalizing that work. Item C is the consumer power streetlight map, the field project report, which was prepared by Rob Carson. There were, I think, 4 or 5 questions or discrepancies on that map that I want to try to go out and nail down. If you haven't had a chance to look at the large map back there, do so on the table. And then the last item there, D, is the email communication from Mitch Deich, City Manager. And I do have a response to that. I apologize, I did not make copies of that to share with you, but I can give you all copies of that.
Is it this? You showed me
No,
earlier?
no.
Oh, it's a new one.
I think that was the one I had extra copies of. Yeah, that's the press release. Okay, public comment. Bill?
On the water tower by Pine Ridge,
Yes.
there is a rust spot started out like this and stuff like this.
Yes.
And it's low enough to where they get a little sandpaper and rust will hit.
Well, we had those inspected recently. I want to say it was about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and I'm waiting for a report on that. But we know when we had them painted, just about 2 years ago now, we were told at that time that we were going to have to look at repainting our water towers probably within 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I just noticed this spot is starting to run.
Yeah.
And I thought if they caught it for that.
Yeah, and we've got some rust on this one too. So yeah,
It's
they're,
low. It's
Yeah.
low enough to reach.
you're talking real low.
Yeah, real low, not.
Yeah. I think there is another one, maybe smaller up higher, that I don't think anyone would want to go up for. Yeah. I'll talk to Charlie about that, Dell, and see if that's something that he's comfortable tackling.
Just thought I'd call to your attention.
Thank you.
Better get him soon, he's gonna retire.
I know it.
I hear that every day.
Any other public comment? Okay, then moving on to department and committee reports. You have in your packet the wage trim monthly report, and also it was not, I don't believe we got it into your packet. I just, unless I'm mistaken, I think I put copies today by your place, 2 bids. One from Topline, one from Windemuller. Last month we approved the one CD that we had that was maturing. We approved cashing that in, which Ruth did, with the intent of looking at purchasing a generator at Wellhouse 4, which is something that the water department has been talking about for quite a long time now. So Charlie did manage, since the last meeting, he requested bids. The only 2 bids he got was from Topline and from Windemuller. Both of those companies submitted bids the last time around, along with, I believe, it was just one other company, but I don't recall the name. But anyway, there are 2 bids before you, and
Looks like this. What's in your loose paper?
it's up under
Underneath your nameplate.
under your nameplate.
Right up here.
No, right there. Yes, ma'am.
It costs too much to get natural gas back there to do a natural gas one.
I don't know if Charlie got a final quote on it from Michigan, but he said it would probably be at least in the neighborhood of 10,000 just to run gas line back to natural gas. The bid that he felt was the best bid was the one from Topline at $33,385. That was for propane, and that, he said, basically included everything. Putting it up, training on it, set up, the whole works. The only thing we would need to do, the only thing that wasn't included was propane fuel. He said that if we get our own tank, we'd be better off getting our own propane tank, and then that way we could contract with anyone for propane as prices change.
Is there a propane fuel installation for the generator?
Yes,
Not included?
right. Yeah. And initially he was talking a diesel generator, but as you can see, the price of a diesel generator, it increases that bid by $10,000, and he felt propane was the way to go. He thought the diesel generator would come in at a lower cost, but it didn't. And then as you look at Windemuller's, their bid is for $37,979.
Is that going to tie in with the system we got coming here to the hall? That will be able to be turned on right here?
Yeah,
No, those are separate.
they're separate, but still to get the alarm, it's gotta come from there to turn on.
Well, yeah, if there was a power outage or something, the alarm would go off and that would automatically turn on.
Okay. We wouldn't need to have anything set up here in that room where we got the control panel.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Tom. I'd have to clarify that with Charlie, but from what I understand, what he told me, it would automatically kick on. And you can see on Windemüller's bid, their bid for a diesel generator is $50,466. So
Yeah, this would have been 43, 44.
Did they specify what kind of generator?
I don't think we want to pull with diesel anyhow.
You
You
know?
mean the brand name?
Yeah.
I don't see a brand name on here.
Onan, O-N-A-N, propane fueled 100 kilowatt generator.
Is that a brand name?
I'm assuming it is.
Yes, it is.
We've got, what have we got now? Gentex.
Generac.
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 That's this one back here, yeah.
It would be nice if we had one with the same trade. And then this way the guy is working with me to give us a yearly contract. You know, to check.
The maintenance contract.
Pardon?
Maintenance contract.
Right. It's not much of a contract because they just run. The only thing that gets lower is oil or something like that. We don't have a water cooled. This is air cooled.
Well, and Onan should provide a maintenance contract too. It's just that we would probably get a better break, is what you're thinking, if we had, if both.
Maybe they do have a different one because this company out of Traverse,
Is that Generac that you've talked to out of Traverse? The maintenance contract?
yeah,
Is it? Okay.
Is that basically the same thing we're buying for that?
a different kind, different trade thing. I mean, what do we got at the fire station?
That's a propane one too, I think it's a
Yeah.
Generac.
That's a Generac?
I believe so.
I guess if we got two now, if we get three,
Well, we can, you know, I could have Charlie look into that to see if, you know, if they install, if Top Line would deal with the Generac and if it would, how much it would change that bid. And at the same time, find out, is there going to be a savings to the township for having three of them on any kind of a maintenance contract?
Well, we've had Top Line do work for us before. We seem to get along pretty good, really.
Yeah. I included this with the hopes that, we could approve this tonight so that we can get the work started to get this installed before the weather turns bad. Looking back to last year, it got real nasty really early.
Well, if the Generac would be too expensive, and you'd want to go with this Onan, we could still have
That's a good name, then,
a motion and a second to get a generator for not more than this amount of money. And if you could get the Generac for that, then we would go with that.
we already approved the money for it.
No, we didn't.
On that
No, we
bill,
approved
We
the
just approved the transfer of the
CD.
CD into the general
Okay.
fund of the water department. Yeah, and I would want to check out too, like I said, if there's going to be an advantage to having them the same in terms of a maintenance contract. And if there's not a big savings or anything, or a big advantage to have all three the same, then we could go with the Onan. But yeah, I would entertain a motion of that nature that would
Not to exceed this $33,385.
Say that again, Shirley.
$33,385. Would that work?
You think a Generac is going to be a higher priced
Yeah, what, if we go with
generator than an
some,
Onan? Ed,
But,
do you think a Generac generator would be a higher priced generator than the Onan?
no,
Do you have any ideas? No?
No, okay.
I don't think so. Well, let's make a proposal that way, if the cost, you know what I mean?
Why don't we do it not to exceed a certain amount of money, and then
Right.
that gives you the option to maybe save the township some money.
But what's going on, tell us nothing about a propane, do they?
Windmiller, yeah, they have a propane, they're the $37,979, that's, no, I'm sorry, that's natural gas.
Somebody wrote propane in there.
Yeah, they wrote
Yeah.
propane.
Yeah, that's for natural gas, from what I understand with Charlie, and that was the reason that he felt the top line bid was better, because to run the gas line for the Windmiller natural gas generator, you're looking at, $37,979 for the generator, but then the cost of running gas back to it, is going to be pretty substantial. That's going to push that figure up.
And you don't know what the
between
gas
40,000
line
and
is going to
50,000.
cost you, do you?
No. And that's a long stretch it's going to have to run. Either coming off from Nelson or off from,
The school.
yeah, there was an issue though with running it.
From the school.
We have a right away coming off of Nelson Street is what it was.
Yeah, Nelson or
Linwood?
Linwood.
I know we do off of Nelson, Charlie said that.
Yeah, yes, there is. But it's still going to jump that cost considerably
Yes.
to run the natural gas line, yeah. That's why he was recommending the top line bid.
Top line is, give us what? Not including two things, right?
Not including propane.
Well, I would make the motion that we accept Topline's proposal, or if we can change the brand of the generator without additional
Exceeding
cost.
that cost.
Exceeding cost.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't include propane fuel installation.
Right.
So that means we're on top of it, we're buying a tank and then filling it.
Right.
You know, we're a little bit, what do you think?
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second to the motion?
Yeah,
Okay, motion by Achinsky, second by Williams to accept Topline's bid
provided.
of $33,385, with the understanding that if there's going to be a cost savings to put a Generac generator rather than Onan in there, we would pursue that if it doesn't exceed that cost. Is
That sounds great.
what you're proposing, Tom? Ed? Okay. Any discussion? You were going to say something, Ed?
Well, propane ain't gonna cost us a fortune, that runs very little.
Right.
And for what little bit that runs, and I remember Barney Castle wanted to make a deal when we ran.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a monthly bill, you're right. Ready-to-serve bill. We wouldn't have a ready-to-serve bill
Yeah,
to pull propane.
and it can't burn that much fuel for,
No, it would,
and they will give you a deal, they did anyway, Barney Castle, but for propane. Well, go
Well,
with
it
the
will-
motion we got, right?
yeah, motion's on the floor, and we will certainly shop around for the best price we can get on a tank and propane fuel, but by purchasing our own tank, then we're not obligated to that
Right.
provider. If their rates go up and we can get a better price from somebody else, we can, if we own the tank, we can do that, so. You ready to vote? Sure, would you call the question, please? Roll call vote, please.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Jacinski,
Yes.
Paul, yes, Sarah,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Item B, fire department report. Logan, you want to?
We had 24 calls this month, 18 of them being medical, one power one power line call, one off-road vehicle crash, 2 false alarms, 1 regular auto collision, and 1 illegal fire. Coming up in October 14th, Michigan Township Association is hosting a conference titled Emerging Issues and Emergency Services. Ron would like to ask the board for permission to send himself and 5 officers to that. The cost is $99 if we register in September, plus 1 night lodging and meals.
Where's that at?
Frankenmuth. I have a flyer up here if you guys want to look at that.
Surely we got some money?
Yep, that one.
They have, have we money? We have a little money now.
Five guys plus Ronnie.
Right. Be Ron and 5, basically all our officers.
Have all of the officers expressed an interest in attending, Logan?
To my knowledge, yes. I mean, Jim, Mike Martin, myself, Vince Majeski, and I think we're waiting to hear on Dale Roberts yet.
And I think you have heard, I talked to Ron this afternoon, Dale couldn't.
Okay.
That was the
That was-
latest that I've heard. But he said to go ahead and approve it for 6, just in case
Right.
there would be a change.
Maybe we should have a board member attend. I see one of the breakout sessions is how the board can help the township fire department be successful.
It looked like a pretty good conference.
So then 6 members of the fire department and 1 board member?
No,
You weren't volunteering to go.
October 14th. It's a Tuesday.
So it starts,
Roth is supposed to be, that's what I didn't.
yeah, it starts at 9 o'clock.
I believe 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, registration.
Yep.
Yeah, it's at 8:30 and then the first session at 9, okay. Is there a motion to approve
Yeah.
fire chief and 5 additional officers to attend? Is Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Kolonowski. Motion by Williams, second by Kolonowski to approve Fire Chief Kutuski and 5 additional officers attending the Michigan Townships Association Conference, Emerging Issues and Emergency Services in Breckenridge, Michigan on October 14th at a cost of $99 per officer plus lodging and meals. Any discussion? And sure, you said the fire department has the revenues in the general fund?
Right now they do, yeah.
Okay. Would you call roll then, please, sure?
Scarra? Yes. Ball? Yes. Williams?
Yes.
Kolonowski?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Lachinsky?
Yes.
Okay, anything else over?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Item C is the Office of the Zoning Administrator's report, and you can see there's been a little bit of activity. Item D, the Planning Commission, we have consideration of approval of the introduction of an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the Charter Township of Filer Utility Grid Wind Energy Conversion Systems. And if you recall at the last board meeting, we chose not to introduce that. We got some language updates in that, and that is included in your packet, and that was highlighted so you could see those changes. That were made on page 15, the addition of paragraph 7.
What you had asked for was the township board to have the final say in any kind of a pulling of a permit. So that's what this language adds.
It would be approved first by the Planning Commission with a recommendation to the board, and the board would have the final say in it then. So if there's no discussion, then I would entertain a motion to introduce that.
I'll motion to introduce that.
Motion by Scarra, second by Williams
Not by Williams.
by Hachinsky, to approve the introduction of an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the Charter Township of Filer Utility Grid Wind Energy Conversion Systems. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Under Building and Grounds Committee, the one thing that at the last board meeting you approved a bid for tree removal of a tree that's threatening the rec center building, and those you approved that bid at the last meeting, and I did speak with Bruce Schaub. I think it was this morning, either this morning or yesterday. Anyway, he's moving his equipment there tonight after work, and then he's going to start tomorrow after he gets out of work at the plant. So And that should, I'm sure, be just the one-day job. I would think he'd have it done by dark. So that will be done. And Ed, was there anything else that you wanted to report from Building and Grounds?
No. I did call for, that manual got lost, I called for another manual, and Lynn got a manual over the internet for
Okay.
what we needed there.
For our
Because we
generator?
haven't looked at that thing since we bought it,
Yeah,
and should be looked
That's
at for
about
a
a year
little
and a half.
more than that.
yeah.
I didn't get to get that, see that booster pump with Chucky yet. So we'll have to, then we got, we got some steel all in the path on it.
Yes, yeah, and I'd like to try to maybe get that done this week.
You've got a busy week this week.
Yeah, I've got a busy week, but I think there's some time in there. If I can find somebody to go with me, we'll load it up and haul it down. I'll just contact people, and if you're available, we'll do that. Because it's sitting
Well,
in
we'll
the front.
pick a day or find a day and see how it goes. That's about it for right now.
Oh, and we did get all the new grills have all been installed at Magoon Creek and one down at the Filer City Park. And I guess the benches and picnic table at Oak Hill Park haven't been painted in
He painted
years. And
today.
those, he got painted today.
He
So
must start it anyway.
Where they put in cement?
What?
Yes, yeah, the grills were put in cement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the old ones, the pipes were cut off below ground.
Okay.
Okay, PEG Commission. In the absence of Dean, Dale, you're...
I didn't make the last one either.
Okay.
It's like I was working. Keith, what'd you have?
Well, basically, we had one piece of equipment go down this last month, which I repaired. We also had some issues with charter in that the audio level was quite low on the station. When I contacted them, they claimed that no, it wasn't low until I convinced them to go listen to it. But they discovered that I was telling the truth. However, they still haven't fixed it, so it's nice they know about it at least. That's the start. And we got some more programming coming in this month, a couple of shows from southern Michigan that have to do with women's issues. And we have a series on addiction that seems to be pretty good. Well, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Questions?
Thank you, Keith.
Sure.
Okay, under G, the Downtown Development Authority, we have the letter of status of the infrastructure development, press release that we want to go out. And if you recall at the last meeting, we approved a press release, and then that one was tweaked a little bit. And in your packet you have, it says at the top, draft. And if anyone doesn't have that, I've got a few extra copies here, but it should be in your, I don't know, it's in your packet. I put them in front of your place. Everybody find it? And the DDA board did make a motion and approved it to rescind the other motion for the original press release, and then made a motion and approved it to submit this draft for publication in local newspapers. Specifically, the Manistee News Advocate and the Ludington Daily News, and then AES would get it out through their network of contacts as well. So I guess all we need to do is basically follow in step with the DDA board and approve this new draft in place of the draft that we approved at last month's meeting.
Well, how come they never sent that letter out, Jerry?
There was some discussion afterwards about
Just not
that.
right.
Well, there was maybe some hard line in it that we just felt there might be some damage control to do afterwards.
Well, this one is a
And
go.
this is more, and this one also really does a better job of following the one that we put in the paper back in February, which was kind of where we're at in the sewer project, what our plans are, what we're doing to inform Filer residents. This is a follow-up to that as to what we've done, where we're at, where we're looking to go, and it kind of takes the high road more so than the other letter. That was the thought on this one. So, and it's not dramatically different than the other letter.
Laura's name is spelled wrong in the third.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We need another motion? We supported it last month.
Yeah.
Should be no reason to do it.
Which paragraph are you talking about, Dave? It was on the second page?
Second page.
So I thought I'd seen that before, and just now I...
Third paragraph, second row.
Oh,
There's an H at the end, that's not right. Am I looking at the wrong one?
Oh, give me what you're looking at. Just looking at this. We found this earlier. It was in this document that was spelled wrong.
yeah, and that's in the new one there. I think it's been changed.
This is
You
not
can double
the
check it and
current
see.
one. This is the
Oh, you
second.
got it there. Oh, there you got it. Oh, okay. And that was on the back. Oh, yeah. All right.
So what you're asking is, do we need a motion to approve this
Revised.
press release as opposed to the previous one? Richard, what's your take on that?
Is this a DDA? It looks like a DDA press release.
Yes, it is a DDA press release.
I'm saying okay with that.
Last month, the board...
I don't see anything wrong with reapproving it. So,
I'll make the motion then that we endorse the revised.
Support.
Okay, so motion by Hitchinski, second by Williams to support the press release, the revised press release that the DDA will be issuing. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The second item under DDA, we need to approve the extension of the executive director's contract. Her contract expired July 31st, and you have in your packet the extension agreement for Tamara Buswinka as the DDA director. Which basically just keeps the original contract in effect, but gives a new date from July 31st of 2014 to July 31st of 2015.
It's really nothing the board is paying for it.
The DDA is paying, right,
right, but you have to approve all contracts for the executive director of the DDA. So that's why
make a motion that we accept the contract or renew the contract.
Support.
Okay, motion by Yachinsky, support by Williams to approve the contract extension of Tamara Lazwinka as the DDA director. Any discussion, questions?
Years should give her enough time.
You want to do a roll call on that, or do you want a yea, nay?
Whichever.
Okay, let's just do a yea, nay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anyone? Motion carried. And under the sewer project, I guess not a whole lot to report other than the press release that's going out that kind of sums things up. We are looking at other options at this point in time. So that's all I have at this time. Public comment.
Does it
Art?
relate to these particular issues that I do have something I want to say.
Sure.
My name is Art Gale. I'm a resident of Filer Township, and I am one of the disabled veterans who applied for a disabled veterans property tax waiver last fall. And I stopped over by the offices, over here to the office last Monday, a week ago Monday, and talked to Terry and Shirley about the personal information that we were concerned that was being available to be viewed by the public. And we want to just go in and black out all the information that we want from our documents, nobody else's. I heard that through the grapevine that problem has been solved.
Yes.
But I wasn't informed that it had been solved, and I, as the one that initiated the actual, what can we do to make this different? But you told me that it wasn't. I just wonder, is there a way that you can communicate with us better when we ask the township for information, that if I come and ask you, if you could tell me, if you could call me?
Here on, was it Monday?
Monday.
Okay. And then we met with Jim Stringham, and we kind of worked on that issue during the course of the week, and then we met with Jim Stringham on Monday. Karen Corlanco told me she would be here as well, but they had a family issue, I believe a death in the family, so she was not here. But we did discuss that with Jim as well, and I can submit that to you in writing. And I think there was also one other vet that asked for that.
There were several. There were three of us all together.
Well, two of you specifically that asked to be notified when that was resolved.
Yeah.
And I guess I just kind of left that in Jim's hands, that he was going to be not contacting you, but in further discussion with you guys. But we can certainly issue something in writing to you.
I think that it would be beneficial for the township and for the members of residents of the township, that if we if we had a problem with the township functioning, if we could get an answer. That seems to have been the problem in the last 10 months. We've had problems with communication. So, okay, if that's solved, that's solved. You told me Monday that when I was there, Terry, you said that the tax waiver for us disabled veterans had been taken away again, and that tax bills would be going out to us.
No, I don't recall saying that.
Oh, that's not the case then? You still have the waivers then?
I know that Bruce Brown prepared the documents for Charlie for the tribunal. Now, Peter Kopke, who is the chief clerk of the tax tribunal. I told Bruce the best way to deal with it, which is what we proposed right from day one when we got a letter from the tax commission. We responded. Richard drafted a letter where we petitioned the tax, asked them to petition the tax tribunal to grant those tax exemptions, and we got a nasty letter back saying that we didn't have the authority to do that, and a lot of demands from her part, which we responded to. Myself as supervisor, Bruce Brown as assessor, each of the board of review members, and then in the end we got another letter back stating that well, they had looking for the word, an official order that they
Resolution, I believe, is
it
what
wasn't a resolution, because that's what I took it as, but when I reread it, it didn't say resolution. It was more like an order for us to do that at our July
22nd meeting.
At our July board review. So we did that. And then this Peter Kopke expressed to Bruce that we didn't really have the authority to do that, and that the tax commission did not have the authority to grant us the authority to do that we should have petitioned the tax tribunal to grant those exemptions when they came before them, when they were appealed.
Okay.
And that's what we tried to do initially. And so, long story short, we've all gone through this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, us as well.
Yes, I know.
And so that's, at this point, Bruce has prepared, the documents, necessary documents. I understand Charlie signed his on Friday.
A stipulation form.
A stipulation form.
Which is what Bruce Brown could have done early on for everybody, but...
And that's what we want, that's what we tried to do.
Last fall.
That's what we
This is
asked.
before you turned us down. If we got our paperwork in before February 1st, he could have granted a stipulation, which would have taken us off the tax roll. Now, the Board of Review would have had to okay that. However, the stipulation would have been into the tax tribunal and everything would have been fine. But Bruce should know this, and he said he did know this, but it took us all going into this circle dance to get there.
Well, and obviously, in my mind, it's my opinion, but there are people sitting in the tax commission that are not real clear on everything as well. And so hopefully, this is what...
I understand.
Did anyone sit in with me? I know Lynn was in that. Shirley, were you with Jim Stringham? And I meant to, and I afterwards, I don't know, I think that slipped. I meant to ask him if he would set that all up with the veterans, getting appointments to sign the stipulations. Bruce can do that, I suppose.
I haven't been aware of any stipulations.
Okay, I will get in touch with Bruce and let him know that that's...
Just for your knowledge, that Bruce was contacted by an attorney before the denial of these waivers, an attorney from Muskegon, and if you need his name, I'll get it to you. Before the waivers were denied, and the attorney told him that get the stipulations, you turn it around, and just what Mary said, told Bruce Brown this before these waivers were even denied. And he emailed the attorney back. So this attorney still has his emails. So he knew all about this, and he's kind of put you guys through the ringer. I'm thinking, and not necessarily just you guys, us too. We've been granted the tax waiver last fall. We had it taken away March 20th. We had it granted again July 22nd. And now you're telling me it's taken away again, correct?
Well,
you can't.
I don't know that it's taken away.
Are we going to get tax bills? I mean, I got a paid receipt for my taxes.
I don't know, are they going to get tax bills?
I have no information on that.
Oh, you don't know if we're going to get tax bills? Oh, who would know? Who would know that?
I'm holding them because they were, your exemption was approved.
It was approved in July, but like Terry says that it's no longer. You guys didn't have you didn't have the power to approve those. That's what the tax commission's telling him.
Well, that's what the officer of the tax tribunal has expressed to Bruce Brown, who shared that with me, and so yeah, we're trying to move forward on that, and get those approved as as quickly as possible. And
well, it looks like it's going to go down to the meetings for the tax tribunal, October 31st and November 4th. I have really little doubt that these will be reinstated. These waivers will be reinstated because it's pretty cut and dry. But the tax deadline's 9/14. Is that correct?
It's the 15th this year.
15th this year.
14th is on a Sunday.
15th. Should I bring in a check to pay my taxes again, even though we're going to have the waiver, and it's going to go into effect probably November? Do I need to bring my check in and pay my taxes before November 15th, or will my tax bill be turned over to the county for penalties and fees, fines?
I don't think that will happen simply because it's not. If you're waiting for an answer, you're in limbo. So.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to turn them over to the county.
I don't think you would be charged interest.
Okay.
They don't go to the county until March 1st anyway.
Okay.
But under this circumstance, I really don't think you'd be charged any interest.
You're the treasurer, right?
Yes.
I can take your word for that.
I would assume.
I get in trouble when I assume things.
Well, I've not gotten any direction as to what to do with your tax bills.
Should we pay them?
I guess.
And then we can generate you guys paying us back, and you can write out some checks paying us back, and you can get a lot of administrative crap.
I guess my point would be.
I would advise you not to answer this question.
Okay.
So we don't know if...
I know what I do if this means, that's all I'll say.
So we don't... You say that we should be kept in the dark whether we should pay our tax bill or not.
I don't know the answer to your question, Mr. Gale. That's what Terry has been trying to tell you. We've been getting conflicting advice from both the Michigan Tax Tribunal and the state tax,
I understand that.
which are not the same entity, all right? Mm-hmm. And it's out of the township's hands at this point. The township no longer has any jurisdiction over those taxes.
Okay.
The board of review has met. They have made their decisions.
So I can receive no assurance that I will not be levied fines and fees for being late on my taxes. No assurances at all. Is that correct?
I would advise the township not to make any representation.
Okay, so I could be levied fines and penalties for this. Okay.
Levied fines.
Well, there's penalties for paying your taxes late, right?
There's interest.
Interest. I don't want to pay any more interest when I've got a tax waiver. I've got a paid receipt.
Well, if you pay your taxes...
I have a paid receipt for a waiver. It says zero. Zero.
Sir, I'm not going to argue with you.
No, I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
What do you think is best?
Well, I took your advice last time, and it looks like that wasn't really a good advice to take.
I'm not prepared to give you legal advice on that.
I don't want legal advice. I just want to know if I'm going to be charged extra money for having my taxes in late because nothing's resolved.
That's right.
That's just all I'm asking. I'm not asking for any kind of guarantees. I just said, do I have to pay a late fee for my taxes because...
We don't know. That's the answer. We don't know. It'll
How-
depend on what the tax tribunal and or the state tax commission ultimately decide.
How will we know?
I would suggest you consult with your attorney on this.
Really?
Yes.
That's what you told me last Monday. You told me to get a court order, didn't you? Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Art. Anyone else? Any other public comment? Okay, then we need a motion to move into closed session to discuss
Busy? Yes.
the letter from Richard.
I'll second
Dale made
that.
the motion, Tom is seconding it. Okay, motion by Kolonowski, second by Achinsky to move into closed session to discuss the letter from our attorney. Sir, you want to call the roll, please?